Hello, welcome to the oral presentation of ED 506, History and Philosophy of Education. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. John Dewey. There have been many influential philosophers and social reformers over America's history, such as Plato, Immanuel Kant, George W. F. Hegel, and Charles Sanders Peirce. But one who has left the largest impact on America's educational system is John Dewey. Morgan K. Williams says in his article, John Dewey in the 21st Century, that he was the most influential educational philosopher to date. The following presentation will highlight Dewey's history, his social and educational philosophy, and various methodologies. To better understand John Dewey's social and educational philosophies and his methodologies, it is best to start with his history. John Dewey was the founder of the philosophical movement of pragmatism. He was a pioneer in functional psychology, and he was a leader of the progressive movement in American education. Dewey's family took an active role in their community and in the democratic society, of which helped form his theories and philosophies. Dewey's beliefs about democracy, community, and problem-solving all guided the development of his social and educational philosophies. John Dewey was born in 1859, and almost a century later died at the age of 93 years old in 1952. He was born and raised in Burlington, Vermont, and he received a bachelor's degree from the University of Vermont. From there, he went on to teach elementary and secondary education. Seeing that didn't quite suit him, he went on to further his education and received a PhD from Johns Hopkins University. It is from here that his educational career truly started. John Dewey started his career in higher education in 1884, teaching philosophy and psychology at the University of Michigan. In 1894, he joined the Faculty of Philosophy at the University of Chicago, and it is there, in the laboratory of schools, that he promoted his philosophy of education, in practice his pedagogy. In 1904, Dewey transferred to Columbia University, where he spent the majority of the rest of his career. According to the European Journal of Education Studies, Dewey authored more than 700 articles, 140 journals, and approximately 40 books covering a wide range of topics. His educational theories and practices were probably most expressed in the following list of works: My Pedagogic Creed in 1897, The School and Society in 1900, The Child in the Curriculum in 1902, Democracy in Education in 1916, Experience in Education in 1938. His greatest influence was that of pedagogy and philosophy. Dewey's influence can still be seen in the 21st century education, although it is few and far in between. However, it is the particular elements of his social and educational philosophy that are more often found in America's educational systems and schools. Pragmatism. Pragmatism is the belief that reality is the sum total of what one experiences, not only in theory, but also in practice. In addition to the strong influences from John Dewey's upbringing, was the equally strong influence of pragmatism on his pedagogy and philosophy of education. Pragmatism enforces critical thinking. It believes that the end justifies the means, and pragmatists believe that the social nature of man is essential. It is a strong sense of democratic society. Pragmatists believe that knowledge happens when man interacts with his environment, and not necessarily from traditional education. The pragmatists also believe truth is found through problem solving and thorough examination. The social and moral development of children played a strong influence on John Dewey's educational philosophy. Guided by the vision of a democratic society and his disapproval of traditional classrooms, John Dewey believes that students thrive in an environment where they can experience and interact with the curriculum, and that all students should take part in their learning. A large contribution to Dewey's philosophy was his distaste for the memorization of facts and recitation of texts, of which were common ways of evaluating students in early American education. Dewey thought that it should be more than that. Education should be more than just reading facts, memorizing facts, reading books, reciting what they're reading, and then that is the measure of their success. He thought it should be more. Students' education should contribute more to society and to themselves than just memorization of facts. He believed that education and learning are social and interactive processes that result in social reform. As a strong advocate of social reform, he believed that this was a high priority for students to learn. For example, truth is a process. A pragmatic theory of truth is that it is a process of discovery. John Dewey believed that learning should be experimental and experienced. Dewey's educational theories and philosophy can be found in the following classrooms and schools. First, the responsive classroom. The responsive classroom fosters a positive learning community. It is research-based, and it is taught through the grades kindergarten through 8th grade. It focuses on the strong link between academic achievement and social development. And here we can see again where the social development comes into play alongside the academic achievement. It was created because of the belief that a high quality of education is based on safe and happy learning. The second are the Montessori schools. Montessori schools is learner-centered ideology where teachers create their curriculum through the careful observation of their students. The curriculum in a Montessori school should be based on the students' talents, personal interest, and physical and social needs. Montessori schools came about when Maria Montessori felt that traditional schools were uninspiring environments, similar to that of John Dewey. In these schools, students have access to the whole curriculum, having the freedom to choose what they would like to learn without the need for adult intervention. The third is the place-based education. Synonymous with community-based learning and project-based learning, service-based learning, and sustainable education, it holds that teachers should use the issues, resources, and values of the local communities first and above all others, and that it should be used in all grade levels. The fourth is the philosophy of children. A teaching method was influenced by Matthew Lippmann in the 1990s. In-class discussions are not directed by the teacher, rather the students through asking questions. It was designed to create critical thinking skills and to create a community of inquiry among students. The more students use critical thinking skills, it would result in higher level thinking, thus bringing about better academic achievement. John Dewey believed that the classroom is a social environment for students to learn and problem solve as a community of people, and that the school and society are the two fundamental elements of a democratic society. Dewey held that schools and education is not merely a place for gaining knowledge, but they are also places for learning how to live life. He wanted students to live life to their fullest potential. In an article from the European Journal of Educational Studies, it states that John Dewey views the schools and the classroom teacher as a social service. He thought that they had the responsibility to produce psychological and social goods that will lead to both current and future social progress. Dewey believed that a teacher must not strive to be a scholar of all subjects. Rather, choose one to master. Morgan K. Williams says in his article, John Dewey in the 21st Century, that a part of Dewey's philosophy is that he did not want teachers to introduce too much academic content without the social interaction, as it is unethical. Many are familiar with at least some aspects of Dewey's educational philosophy, such as child-centered education, inquiry-based learning, or more generally, progressive education. It is because John Dewey was a proponent for project learning, problem-based learning, and constructivism in community building in the classrooms, that the main theme of his philosophy is to create a democratic society of informed and engaged inquirers so that they have the best means of promoting human interest. Elements of John Dewey's pedagogical theories and practices, in addition to his educational philosophy, can be seen in the 21st century education. However, they are becoming more rare. As one can see, more focus is placed on the Common Core. One of the various theories and techniques which would apply to John Dewey's theory in the classroom is technology, as it is an effective way to promote student engagement. It also creates research-based education or learning and a few various other things, and technology is ever on the rise. There are various other ways one can see John Dewey's theories and philosophies in the 21st century education. But as an advocate for hands-on learning and experimental education, John Dewey was a firm believer that pure academic achievement cannot be achieved alone, but it has to be integrated with the democratic society. John Dewey was the most